Hey everyone, welcome back to the Velocity channel where this is your bridge to financial freedom. And today we're going to get rid of your $40,000 whatever loan, right? I mean, it can be an auto loan, it can be a personal loan, student loan, whatever it is, right? We're getting rid of it in about a year, not 2 years, not 3 years, and definitely not 7 years, all right? But before we get into that, like, share, and subscribe so that everyone across the world can know the power of velocity banking. And can I just say this before we continue? I am so glad that we have a webinar coming on tonight that is going to shatter people's perceptions of how you should do banking. The banks taught us how to bank, right? But that's like the fox teaching chickens how to eat. You know, why in the world would a fox teach a chicken how to eat? So that he can eat well, okay? And it's the same with some of our education that we've got from the banks. And so it doesn't need to be like that, and it's not going to be like that. We've got a webinar coming on tonight at 8 p.m. and we're going to show you how automated velocity banking is, right? How we're able to pay off huge amounts of money in very little time, in as little as 5 to 10 years, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 loans out, right? They are eliminated in very little time, and it's called leverage. So we'll see you tonight as well. So $40,000 at 10%, right? To some it seems like a lot, to some it seems like nothing. But in order to optimize the finances that come in, we need to have a system. We're paying $664 each and every month, but that amount is not going to the principal. Did you know that? It's getting split up. And this is how it's getting split up. $334 is going to the bank, while $330 goes to the principal. Now, you may say, wait a minute, CJ, that's not fair. Of course not, okay? The interest rate is the cost of borrowing money. That is literally the definition of interest rate, all right? And so this interest over here, of course, the bank, at least in the beginning, is going to get more, and they'll be getting even more, right, next month. Meanwhile, we have a line of credit that is just sitting there doing nothing. You know, we got taught, hey, don't use your line of credit, or maybe you got taught to, you know, maybe use it in emergencies. But you know what? You have a $40,000 loan, and this is a cash flow sucking loan. If you put it through the cash flow indicator, I guarantee you that it's going to tell you that it's less than 50. And remember, 0 to 50 means what? That it is an inefficient loan, and this is dragging money out of your pocket. So you're wanting to get rid of these types of loans very quickly so that you can capture this, okay? That's what it's all about. Meanwhile, your lonely line of credit is just sitting there doing nothing. But instead of it doing nothing, may I suggest this? May I suggest that even though it's $10,000 at 30%, which, by the way, 30% over here is going to be much less than 10% over here, or even 6% over here. Why? Because these two calculations, okay, the interest over here and the interest over here, is calculated much, much differently, all right? That's why. And so what we want to do is take advantage of that. And we want to say, well, I have the $10,000, but what can I do with it? Well, this is what you can do with it. You can place your $10,000 towards the principal of the $40,000. And what is that going to do? That's going to lower it to $30,000. Why is that important? Well, because the 10% is no longer going to eat on the $40,000. You see, that's why the banks are getting more, okay? They understand the interest, that the bigger the principal, the bigger the interest. But the opposite is true. The smaller the principal, the smaller the interest. And that is where we want to be. So now that we've taken care of the $40,000, now we're at $30,000. The 10% is going to eat on that. Now, what does that look like? Well, it's going to look much lower, and let me show you how much lower. Looks like $87 difference, right? Because remember, this first month, right, looked abysmal. You were paying more towards the bank, but look at what would happen if you deployed your stagnant line of credit. It's going to be working for you in the interest column and in the principal column, because the $87, right? You're $87 less, you're paying less to the bank, and you're paying more to the principal. $87 more. Now, what is that called? It's called interest transfer. That's exactly what happened. You see, anytime you knock down the principal, the interest is going to get transferred from the bank to you. Now, let me ask you a question, and you don't have to answer. But were you able to save $87 this month? But you can if you know how to pay your loans off. Do you see what I mean by cash flow through your loans? So you can do that, and this is only going to get better and better as you start paying it down. Now, the question may arise, wait a minute, you did not address, CJ, that you still have a debt over here. So now you not only have one debt, right, which is bad enough, now you've got another debt. What are we going to do with that? I'm glad that you asked. What we're going to do is we're going to let and you can put your cash flow here, okay, if you'd like. And you can even put your line of balance here. You can even do this with me, okay? Your line balance, you're going to divide that by your cash flow. Let's see what happens when we put our cash flow of $2,000, all right? Say we're bringing in $4,000, $2,000 a month in expenses. We do have that $2,000 as cash flow because 4,000 minus 2,000 is 2,000, all right? But we have the line balance of $10,000, all right? How long are we going to be in that? If we're using our line of credit as our new checking account, that's right, we're going to be in it just 5 months, okay? Just 5 months. Now, for those of you who are kind of nervous about using a $10,000 line of credit in this fashion, just know that we have systems in place. Of course, we're going to go over that tonight in this webinar to where you don't have to allocate the $10,000 chunking principle like we just did here. You can do it by bits, right? Some are having to transfer just $25 this month, maybe $50 that month, but it's going to equal out to a substantial enough amount to where this is going to be paid off in way less time. You see, they want you out of this in 7 years, but we got you out of it in about 12 months, okay? About 12 or 13 months. Guys, whatever it is, it could be 14 months, right? It could be 15 months. It's still less than 7 years, all right? Now, how much in interest debt do we save you? Well, this is the thing. Let me show you. Before I show you exactly how much we saved you in interest, I think it is fair that we say that it's not your fault. None of the debt that you've accumulated is your fault. Remember, you were born into a debt-based system, okay? No one really taught us how to operate in a debt-based system. And so when you are learning strategies, I learned this from an investor. So what does that tell you, right? There is a learning gap, not just an income gap, right? But a learning gap between certain levels of society. And we need to bridge that. That's why we say that velocity channel is the bridge, because that's where the inequality is, folks. It's between the 6 inches between the years, all right? So the interest that we're saving you, can you pick which one, or the interest that you'll pay with traditional banking and the interest that you'll pay with velocity banking? Can you choose which one it is? This one goes to velocity banking? Well, you would be right. Absolutely. While the $15,779 has to go to the traditional banking. Remember, the banks taught us, so of course they're going to profit, because that's what they taught us to do. They taught us to pay them. We're teaching you how to pay yourself by a system, okay? So, like I said, the Money Max account, there's a system already in place to where, if you don't want to do the $10,000 chunking method, then you don't have to at all. You can actually come and see how we're doing it, to where people are almost on automation, making sure that they're paying this, and this off, and also paying their house off in about 5 years. That's the normal for these types of folks. 5 years, 7 years, at the most 11, maybe 12. All right. Listen, you can get a 15-year mortgage. Oh man, you can get a 15-year mortgage. All right. But when you're paying off a house and you're making it normal to pay off a house, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars within 5 years, within 7 years, people are going to ask, what in the world are you doing? And it's not that we are doing anything. It's the system that does it for us. And that's how we need to live. All right. Like I said, let's go ahead and do a recap here. $664 each and every month. It is not going towards the principal. I can't stress that enough. It isn't. It's going to get split. The bank is going to take their more than half. All right. It's not even a 50-50 split, man. I mean, that's what I mean by scam, right? $330 is going to the principal. So that's why it's taking you a long time. All right. Instead of the 12 or the 13 months, you're going to be in it for the duration, man. I'm talking about 84 months. Yeah, 12 times 7 is 84, all right? Instead of the 12 to 13 that we have here. So let's just make it 15, okay? We don't want to beat anybody up, all right? It's 15 months that you're in the velocity banking method and you're out of this. So now that you are out of the loan, what happens next? $664. Now you have that freed up. You don't have to pay the loan anymore. Can you get another loan? Now watch this, okay? I'm just trying to expand your mind even further. Can you get another loan that instead of sucking, right, you're actually building or creating an asset that makes you more cash flow? Can we think along those terms, right? Perhaps you want to get a business loan. Perhaps you want to get something for your education, or perhaps a system that is going to add value to you, that is going to take that 30, 40-year mortgage and then subtract it, right, down to maybe 5 or 10 years. How much interest would you be saving versus what you are giving out? Let's say something costs, what, $10,000. I'm just, I like the number 10, right? 10,000. Say something costs $10,000 and you're like, man, I really need that. And plus, it's going to actually save me $50,000, $60,000 in interest. You know what? I want that $10,000, whatever it is. You go ahead and pay or invest in yourself that $10,000. What happens next? Well, you've got to pay it off, don't you? Or maybe you're just going to want to do an interest transfer, all right? You're going to switch out that interest. Maybe you want to go from financing with them to financing with you, since you've got the line of credit, all right? And that's okay as well, all right? And so now you've got a system that is going to actually save you $50,000. So if you paid paid $10,000, all right, and you saved $50,000, was that a win for you? If you now have a future that is pulling you towards it, towards the future, a plan that is pulling you towards it, is that something that you would be okay with? I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way so you can take a screenshot, right? Put it on your shirt, put it on your wall, all right? You can even tattoo this on your body, just teasing, right? Because this is beautiful. This is better than a banana duct taped to the wall, okay? This is true art. You are taking what was stagnant and you're putting it to work for you. You ever heard of Robert Kiyosaki, Guy Kawasaki, and all these people talk about how you have to make money work for you? What do you think they're talking about? You can't have money stand still. You got to have it moving, all right? All right, folks, hey, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and do my other business here. And I want you guys to win all of the time, all right? God bless you. And we will see you tonight, all right? 8 p.m. Eastern time on the webinar. God bless you. And we'll see you in the next video.